Thing working? Yeah, looks like it's working. Shit. All right. Well, 6 years. 6 years. I'm gonna need some drink for this. So I don't have a lot of plans for this. Really didn't plan anything out. This came up on me faster than I realized. So I don't know what to do. But you know what, man? I mean, it is that day. It's that day. So, I mean, last year I kind of made a shit show out of it. Called a bunch of people and just asked everyone if they would go live with me. How you doing? How you doing? This year, I don't know. I really feel like doing that. Didn't know what to do. Honestly, I didn't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything for this channel for a while. I don't really want to deal with Vegas much lately, to be honest, man. Real life is kind of a little much. But I was going to go out there. I was planning on driving out there. But, you know, Vegas got really expensive recently. And there's a little bit of chaos going on over there. And that's just excuses because realistically, I got to work in the morning. I worked yesterday, so there was just no time. I didn't feel like doing the turnaround drive. But I want to do something, you know? 6 years of this madness, 6 years of this shit. And figure do something. So I want to explain a little bit, I guess, you know, something I can do. Explain a little bit of why I'm into this. Why I was as passionate as I was at sometimes. Tell a few stories I haven't really told to public, but I think I've mentioned it in chats and stuff like that. So some of this may not be new to people, but some of it may be. And again, I don't know if I'm going to keep this video up or not. I said this was just kind of to pay respects in a way, the only way I really thought of last minute. So there's a video that haunts me, man. I'll explain why as we go through it. Hey, how you doing? Good to hear from you, man. Good to see you guys. So I'm going to play a little video here, man. This video is very personal to me. Kind of fucks me up every time I listen to this thing. And not a lot does that. But this kind of does. And I'll explain why.
Gunfire sounds like they're doing CPR tunnel right here. Hey, let's get the fuck. I'm running, dude. I'm running the fuck out of here. Let's get the fuck out of here.
So I say you let the crowd go.
Come on, running. Some shit.
Come on, dude. Hey, see, we're safe in here.
I'm not even safe.
Hey, let's shit was safe first. I want you to fucking grab her arm and bring her up with me. Now, grab her fucking arms. Listen to me. Grab her fucking arms and bring her.
Go.
Come on.
All right. So this video was sent to me on the, I mean, I'd seen it, but I didn't know the importance behind it or the meaning behind it. It was sent to me on the, I believe it was the first or second anniversary. I think it was the first, though, to be honest with you. I think it was the first anniversary of this thing. A couple of friends out in Vegas that were there for the event. They were going to the memorial. They both sent me this video separately and told me not to tell the other. Right? They're two sisters that I work with, and they didn't want me to tell the other that they were sharing videos of this because I don't know, they were kind of freaked out at the time. Shit, they still thought like everyone else that there's some more going on here and that people were often these survivors. So the pair of boots you see right there, it's a girl named Irene, and that's a coworker. Her sister's a friend of mine named Angie, and I almost did a little bit of an interview with her, but all the drama was breaking out at the time. She was down though. She came over to my house, ready to do this shit, but yeah, she just, last minute said, "Nah, dude, everybody doxing people out and doing all this crazy shit. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's not worth putting your name out there." Even a first name, at that point. So I'm playing a little bit of this video and explain it.
Reach underneath and grab it. I'm fucking trying. Just slip on it. Get down!
All right. Yeah, this is a tough video to get through for me. So I know who Sarah is, the voice in the background, screaming that name. I know who's screaming it, and I know who Sarah is. And yeah, this kind of got to me. This definitely got to me. Because that person, she's my best friend for a long time. We had a falling out, and we didn't reconnect until this happened, because I found out she was there pretty shortly after, from another coworker who actually was there also. And so I found out that she was there, and I immediately called her, and we kind of reconnected over that. And so this video was always chilling to me, even if as I listen to it now, it's really freaky to watch this thing. And again, there's not a lot that gets to me, but this is one of those things. So I'll play a little bit more here, and you get the idea. But that voice screaming in the background, it's a good friend of mine.
Is that yours, bro? It's not mine. Someone needs to save it. Yo, some people are dying is what's going on. Yo, we need to get the fuck out of here. Let's get the fuck out of here, dude.
We're gonna get trampled, bro. I say we wait.
See? There's cops running toward him. There's cops running toward him. Dude, it's too fucking close. It's too close. I heard it bounce off the metal, dude. No, we need to get the fuck. It's coming from.
All right, that's enough of that shit. So, what I found out about this, fuck me, man. This, I said, this video is kind of chilling, man. See, I had her over at my house, and we were talking about this, and that girl that you see them pick up, they put them on the bleachers. And the story I was told was, they basically laid her down right there. And, the one you hear screaming there was, she was sitting there next to, what she assumed was a dead body. I don't know if that person survived or not. She doesn't know if that person survived or not. She told me that she was dead, but we've seen, I haven't been able to figure out or find anybody that knows who that is. And so that set me on this search to figure out who that person was. Started going through all the autopsies, all that madness. But, that gets a little heavy. It's hard to deal with. And it's really complicated. Trying to figure out who's who by, what they're wearing, pictures, what color their hair is, all that sort of stuff. Especially when people dye their hair as much as they do these days. So it's kind of tough, man. So, went through a lot of the autopsies, started dealing with, the victims of that night and trying to figure out who the various victims were, trying to find them in videos and stuff like that. And honestly, I found quite a few. And then after that, man, I started hearing other stories from people I know. Look, I'm from Southern California, man. Everybody out here knows somebody that was there. And, right after this happened, everybody knew somebody that was there. So, I started talking to people about this channel after about, I don't know, a couple of years. Because I didn't start this channel for, I don't know, probably 6 months after. Let me find this here real quick. I think this is the one. No, it's not the one. I believe that's the one. Normally, I don't use NBC for anything, but, for this, it's a pretty decent article before all the madness started. And so go down the list of the people who died that day. I explain a couple that there are a couple of them that I will not go into ever because they're still out there. They survived. Their names are out there, and I ain't touching that. But through all these people, man. I mean, and this is the hard part of it when you start going through, autopsies, trying to figure out who these people are, and you're looking at the photos, and then you're trying to, look at who they might have been with. So you're going into their timelines and you're going into their Facebooks and all this sort of stuff. And you're looking at people that are no longer around and, died pretty horrifically in some cases. The lucky ones got off pretty quick, but a lot of them didn't. And we can see it in the videos, man. I mean, I usually don't mention it when I do see it in videos. I try not to, but a couple of them that I will. But Frasier, everyone knows Frasier. Frasier is the one that HDR or whatever the fuck Cornhole was fucking making fun of. Doing the rubber ducky sounds and shit like that as he's getting carried off in a wheelbarrow. Of all things, man. You get fucking murdered, dude, and they carry you out in a fucking wheelbarrow. And that's the last place someone sees you. It's pretty fucked up. You got some asshole on the internet making fun of you. So, to me, that was a big sticking point. That's something that kind of pissed me off. Now, you read the article here. I don't know anything about his immediate family. But I had a friend at work one day. We were talking, and he said his daughter was there, or his niece. His niece was there. And so his niece was at the concert. Asked him if he knew anything about what happened. He said she was there with someone who died. Tried to figure out who it was. He had to ask his wife because he wasn't ballsy enough to ask her about it himself. So the story was that she was with Frasier because she's best friends with his wife, I guess. And as soon as the bullets started riddling and they realized what it was, they started running. And she tells the story as, as she was running with his wife, they turned around and they could see the moment that he was shot. They saw him kind of do a little lurching thing and that was kind of it. I don't know the rest of that story. He didn't tell me the rest of it. That's all I got. So there was that. And there was a little bit of controversy between me and somebody else for a while there who was trying to say that that story wasn't true. But yeah, that's how I heard that. The other one that really I concentrated on is going to be down here, I think, a bit once I get to her. So let's see, where is it? And most of these, of course, trying to pick out, a female. Oh, you don't know what they look like. You kind of have an idea what they were wearing, but they ended up, they're in that video. Trying to figure out who that is. It's just a needle in a haystack, man. It's crazy. But yeah, going through this was it's kind of a tough thing, going through autopsies and dealing with that sort of stuff. And I think Michelle, we have there's video of Michelle Vo. I could pretty much map out what happened with her. I don't know anything about her other than that. There was another lady, I can't remember which one it was offhand. We can see her last moments as well. And of course, I didn't see the one that I was going to talk about. These are in alphabetical order, so it would be up quite a ways. If they had her in here, they may not have had her in here. But just give a little bit of background of why, I got a little crazy with this stuff, why it was kind of frustrating to hear people, tell stuff that just wasn't fucking true. And it wasn't true. And, that sort of stuff got a little crazy in the head. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's a weird picture of her, man. It's an old picture of her. Rocio Gayen. Rocio Gayen, I had a friend who told me one night that he knew her, that she worked at a local Chili's by his house for a while, and he had some friends that used to go there pretty regularly since they lived right next to it. And every time they walked in there, she would take her break and she'd hang out with his group of friends. So she was kind of part of the group. So he asked me, if he would, and again, she doesn't really look like this. This is an old picture, man. That picture is probably 10 years old. And looks to me at least. And so, he asked me if I knew anything about it. And I didn't, so started the search for that, right? So now I'm looking for two, people. And Rocio Gayen, I can follow her tracks from the moment she started running all the way to the moment she got into, I believe she got into an ambulance. We don't actually see that on camera, but I believe she got into an ambulance. She died at the hospital. But her story is pretty tragic. It's pretty bad. And it's pretty easy to map out because there's a lot of footage of her. And they even used her in some of the, Nightline shit or whatever that last video that came out was. When they had that Hispanic girl talking about, the event, and she was there. They kept using this girl, which to me was kind of fucked up. They kept using Rocio Gayen, right? And I'll bet you the people who made that video didn't even know that she died. But, I knew who it was. And it's pretty easy to prove, and it's pretty easy to figure out everything that happened with her. Her husband had two shirts on. It's a California thing. Had a white shirt, undershirt, and he had a Johnny Cash shirt. It was kind of a green color, maybe gray. It looks green though. And he wasn't wearing that shirt. She had it towards the end there, and it was around her. Her leg, So it looks like she got hit in the femoral artery on her leg. She's the only one that took a leg shot and died, and looked like he just didn't tie the tourniquet tight enough, right? And and they went and they sat next to an ambulance as the ambulance helped other people, thinking that they were more in need, and she ended up losing too much blood, obviously, and dying. So you think of that story. It's a fucked up story, right? That husband knows that, well, he possibly could have saved her. He did the right thing. He just didn't do it right. And he's got to live with that. I don't even think they were married that long, to be honest with you. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, she left some kids behind, and they were her kids, I believe. I don't even think they're his. So he's now adopted a bunch of kids. They weren't his. It's fucked up. And so when you start going into this stuff, you start looking into this stuff, it gets really complicated, difficult. But again, that's my story. That's most of the reasoning behind why I got involved in all this shit, as I was sitting here doing this, and I was thinking, what am I going to do for this? What am I going to do? I'm just going to go live and just wing it, figure it out. I don't know. Thought about playing a video that Hunter sent me. The last video that Hunter sent me, but I really can't. I'd have to go through it and probably edit the shit out of it, but I think about that too, man. I mean, I met some good people, man, doing this, and there's some good people following this along for a while there, and we've lost some of those people, and yeah, it's a tragedy, man. It's a tragedy. But what are you going to do? 6 years, man. 6 years. And we don't have shit. We don't know a fucking thing, other than what they've told us. I will say this, man. For those of you that aren't in the Discord that we use, and I mean, you're probably better off not being in it, man, because I vent my political frustrations in that fucking thing at this point. But if you're interested in hearing some stupid shit like that, LVSA has a Discord, and it's on his community tab. We all kind of talk on there once in a while. It's kind of quiet for the most part, but once in a while they get me riled up. But I'll say a couple things, man. If you're not in there, I have I think at this point I have 13 FOIAs sitting out there. I believe 4 of them I've gotten responses back. Kind of the generic responses saying they're working on it. One of them was interesting. One of them was I asked for all interviews with any and all Mandalay Bay employees, all the interviews they can collected from Mandalay Bay employees. They sent me a letter back saying, fuck no, you're not getting it. And they said, because of privacy concerns. So I sent them a letter back saying, look, these things are in the final report for the LVMPD. They posted some of these people's names and shit like that. I'm not even asking for that. All I'm asking for, I'm asking you to redact all the names, redact it, whatever the hell you got to redact out of these things. I just want to see them. And they sent me a letter back saying, fuck no, you're not getting them. It's privacy, bro. So, having a little back and forth with the FBI is not always fun, but it's interesting. They're not willing to share something like that. Now you can say, well, they just don't share everything, and that's generally my point of view. Is they just don't share shit. They just, they don't. But I also asked for all the photos that were taken inside rooms 134 and 135, and they told me they were going to give them to me. And I believe it's 6,400 or something like that, some crazy ass fucking number of photos they're going to send me. But I guess due to the nature of photos, they said they're going to send them over CD, compact disc. Somebody still uses those fucking things. And so it's going to cost me a little bit of money and, whatever. I'm not too worried about that. But that will be something for the future, I guess, if that ever shows up. 6,000. Hell, I don't know. They've generally, what they say is if it's over 50 pages, if it's under 50 pages, it's up to 3 months. If it's over 50 pages, it's I forget, like a year or something like that. If it's over 1,000, I think they said it's up to 5 years or something like that. But these are photos. They're not text that somebody has to physically sit there and read and go through. So I'm hoping that sooner rather than later, man. I'm hoping I don't got to wait 5 years for these fucking things. But, so not to get everyone's hopes up, but, those pictures may be on the way. Hey, me, I'm open about everything. I post everything. I don't hide shit. So, once they show up, there's going to be videos. I've already talked to LVSA. He's going to archive them for me, so it will be online. And we'll see what comes out of that. So, anyway, I just popped on real quick. Just want to do something, man. I mean, this is the day, and I don't think anyone else was doing anything. So that was the plan for the night. Actually, I should say this was unplanned, but that's the deal. Again, I don't know if I'm gonna leave this up. I don't know, man. I don't really. I'm not. And this wasn't a planned video. This is just like October 1st. It's kind of a little honoring the dead kind of thing. But I'm out of here. You guys take it easy and stay safe out there. And I'll see you when those photos show up or something else.